Low-quality fans of a high-quality Bruins team, welcome back. It has been a tumultuous couple of weeks. Not great. But hey, there's reason to be excited about the offseason. There's all sorts of crazy shit that could happen. You expect this to be an interesting offseason. Cap Friendly has updated to showing not last year's contracts, but this year's and where we really are cap-wise. It is not for the faint of heart. But today, I thought that I would just take a bunch of your hot takes and judge them. The good, the bad, the ugly. And because hockey fans have shown that they are not sensitive at all, that they react perfectly to criticism of their takes, I know that no one's going to get offended by what I say about these takes. So, good. Feel free to put more hot takes below. If you like this kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, nailed it. This idea came up because Kevin Paul Dupont decided to have a galaxy brain idea and wrote an article about trading for Connor Bedard, trading for the #1 overall pick, which is, how do I put this gently, fucking stupid. Hold on, because if Chicago put that pick up for trade, if they said, yeah, you could get it, there is not a deal that the Bruins could possibly make that would result in us getting the #1 pick. Because even if Chicago would take McAvoy and Pasternak and 2 firsts down the road, even if they took that, right? Even if they would take it, you have probably 29 teams that can put together a better package than that. Legitimately. For their time frame, for the way they're trying to build this thing, we are way down there on what we could actually offer that would make sense to the Chicago Blackhawks. And I think most people see that. I think they mostly understand that. But for some reason, people like to write articles that are just plain stupid and drivel on through stupidity, and I'm really disappointed. And Kevin, if you want to give me a call, fucking do it, man, because I think you just went full clickbait. Good for you. Be proud of that. Be proud of that. I'm feeling spicy today. It's fine. But let's talk about a couple of these hot takes. And I want to start with one that is in the same area of it just doesn't work that way. And I appreciate the sentiment of it, though. And this is from Vinny. He says, if Bergeron and Krejci retire, trade Marchand. That's the hot take. You trade Marchand for a young top 6 center and then retain both Bertuzzi and Orlov. And he prefaces this with, I want to die typing this, but it's a good asset management. You are right. From the Bruins side, that is great asset management. If you told me right now you could get a young top 6 center for Marchand, just trading 1 for 1, done. I do it in a heartbeat. I love Marchand. I do that in a heartbeat. It completely changes the landscape of this franchise. Completely changes it. Here's the problem. No team has a plethora, outside of the Anaheim Ducks maybe, of young top 6 centers and is willing to trade one for Marchand. Even though Marchand is close to an expiring contract, Marchand is still a great player. But after the last season he just had, where he just didn't quite look the same, no team makes that deal. No team makes that deal. Now, if you want to make the argument that we have to put more into it, I totally get that. You have to put in a first along with it or something like that. We're in a weird area of, are we retooling or are we stripping it down to the bare assets again? We're retooling. That trade doesn't make sense for the team that we're trading with unless we give up other pieces that don't make sense for us. We are a team full of contracts that this guy is more valuable to me than he is to you because of the landscape of our franchise right now. So it just doesn't work that way. We just would not be able to get a top 6 guy like that, a top 6 center like that, unfortunately. I get why it hurts to say, though. And why not stick with Marchand for a moment here? Donald types up a good one here. Hot take. How about trading Marchand instead of Hall? Okay, because we were talking about Hall being a cap dump-ish kind of guy. Could get more, and he is older, meaning Marchand, and he may be on the downfall. Next, sign Lucic over Hathaway, which, okay. And I know what most will say, but trade Pasta. His cap hurts the team. He doesn't show up in the playoffs like an elite guy, and don't tell me points. Pasta does not take over games in the playoffs. I would trade him to the New York Rangers for a first and 2 of the players on the kid line. Lot to digest here. First of all, trading Marchand instead of Hall. That's semantics there. I think Marchand's the more valuable player. If you could get more for him, there's like a real conversation about that. I don't think that's the biggest hot take. I think it's something that you throw around. I would rather trade Hall than Marchand, personally. Next sign, Lucic over Hathaway. Lucic has nothing left to offer the NHL. I love the guy. I mean, if you wanted to do a contract that was like league min and he's on the 4th line, I could see it, but I don't see that happening. I really don't. It'd be kind of neat, but yeah. Hathaway would cost more in general. I don't see Hathaway re-signing here just because he is going to be a 3rd or 4th line guy that's probably going to be making more than he should, and the Bruins don't have the cap space for that. The biggest thing here is Pasta trade. I'm going to push back on that one. I'm going to be what most people would say. Pasta is a top 10, top 15 guy in the league. He was hurt in this playoff series. Totally get that. I was critical of him in this playoff series. Felt like he wasn't playing up to his standard. His cap hurts the team. Yes, but that's what the contracts are moving towards. Like, that's what it is. And if he's a top 15 guy, we'll be, like, generous with that. Top 15 guy, then he's making the right amount of money. You got to look around the league and how the cap is going to start rising again shortly and how contracts are coming out. You're not getting Pasta's production with less than 11 million. You're just not. I don't care if it's 2 players, 3 players, whatever. You're not getting his production for that kind of money. So when you say his cap hurts the team, like, I get it. It's a big contract, but you have to have guys who are needle movers. And although this was a bad series for him, he is, in the long term, a needle mover. And that cap hit is, you could spread that across 3 other guys that you like. They're still not equaling that same production. And you're also using up more slots on the ice to equal it. Like, mathematically, it just doesn't even out like that. I don't think his high cap hit is something that you can get away from when you look at how you'd have to replace his production. Let's do a fun one. Let's do one that, Coyle will score 30-plus goals next season. That came from Meh on Twitter. Meh. 30-plus goals next season. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Will it happen? No. But I love it. I'm praying with you, buddy. That is an optimistic take. Those are the kind of takes that I really like. If Coyle scores 30-plus next season, hit me up, man. I will highlight you on a dozen videos in a row with how right you were. Wow. That would be awesome. That would be really awesome. Another positive one, well, why not just keep it there for a second, is Swayman. This comes from No Shield. Swayman becomes our number 1, and he pots 2 goals and a fight next season. Again? No notes. Perfect. Chef's kiss. Incredible. We love it. We are expecting Swayman. We're expecting Ullmark to fall back to earth and Swayman to grab that starting role. And we're going into the season the same way we did last year, honestly, where we thought Swayman was the guy and Ullmark was going to be a really good backup, but like an overpaid backup. Well, if Swayman re-signs, which we should really expect him to, you want to see him compete for that number 1 role. And I think it's really possible. Will Ullmark go supernova again? I don't know. I don't know if these numbers reflect what Ullmark really is as a goalie. I don't think they do. But I think he's a really good goalie. I just think Swayman is too. The 2 goals, awesome. A fight, it scares me, but hell yeah, let's see it. Wonder how long that sussy's going to be, though. But let's stick with the Swayman talk. Brandon Flowers says if a goalie ends up getting traded this offseason, it'll be Swayman traded, even though we all assume that it would be Ullmark. That's a bold one too, because although you can probably get a decent little package, remember goalies just don't get traded for the same amount that other players do. You don't usually get firsts thrown around with goalies. But there is a team that would look at Swayman's past couple of years and him as a young goalie and be like, yes, we would love to have him. He is an RFA. What we would need to do is either have someone offer sheet the hell out of him with a cap hit that would surprise you, and thus we get picks back. That's how the offer sheets work. Or we would need to do a sign-in trade, which would probably lower the value because the offer sheet's going to have to be kind of extreme for us not to match. But if a team came out, this is, oh my God, I'm realizing this in real time. If a team came out and really valued Swayman and offer sheeted him like $6 million over 4 years, I mean $6 million per year over 4 years, I don't see how the Bruins can match that right now outside of some serious trading, one of them being trading Ullmark. That's a scary thought, actually, if a team really values what Swayman's done. Holy shit. Either way, there's a lot more trickiness to trading Swayman than Ullmark, even with Ullmark's no trade clause, like 16-team list or whatever it is. Swayman's an asset that you don't want to see go the other way. It's trickier to make it happen, but it is an interesting conversation piece. It is a hot take, but I don't really have an argument. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's insane. I don't have an argument to say like, hey, what are you talking about? It's just a really scary thought for a lot of us, I think. And then John Petit, hot take, break up Ullmark and Swayman. Trade Ullmark while he's hot. Ullmark's contract being worth $5 million is definitely worth it, don't get me wrong. But for this team, your young goalie backup who had an outstanding season, who isn't making baby money anymore, needs his net. He needs experience as our number one guy, as I believe Swayman is over Ullmark. And trading a guy while he is hot is not a bad take. Reading was never my specialty, especially when you don't expect him to do the same thing next season. Isn't it strange that we are all still in on Swayman and Ullmark is still the outside guy? Not for everybody. I'm not saying for everybody, but for a lot of us, we're like, well, it's still Swayman. Like, Swayman's our guy. I find that so fascinating. But this is a conversation that a lot of people are having. Do you trade Ullmark because do you believe that he can repeat, or maybe not repeat the same numbers, but still be an elite goalie next year? And I think most of us don't believe he'll be an elite goalie next year. I think that's fair. I think he'll be a good one. I just don't know about elite. And so we sit here and go, well, which one of them's got to go? And Ullmark, you probably clear more cap space. You sign Swayman to a bridge deal, $2.5-3 million for the next 2 years. Again, average each year as $3 million. Yeah, again, not a hot take that I'm going to sit here and lose sleep about. That's something that's a real conversation right now. And I would push back on outstanding season for Swayman last year, but certainly a good one. Certainly a good one. Oh, no. Some of these guys. All right, Steelhead. Let's be honest right now. This is not your best work. That's okay. This is not your best work. DeBrusk or Taylor Hall for the other Marcus Foligno, the Wild, as a cap dump move. In a nutshell, you want to trade a player who is better than Marcus Foligno, right? So you want to downgrade at a position as a cap dump. DeBrusk makes $4 million. Foligno makes 3.1. I believe 3.1 with the Wild. So right there, you're not saving much money. That's just giving away a guy for saving $900,000 a year in cap space. Doesn't make sense. Let's entertain the Taylor Hall side of things. $6 million is what Taylor Hall makes. That would be a real cap dump. You free up $2.9 million in space. That's a real cap dump. Here's my issue with it. The Wild actually have massive cap issues of their own. I think they have something like $14 million in buyout money. So the Wild don't want to make a move helping another team clear cap, even if it's a better player coming back. Do I think they would take Taylor Hall for Marcus Foligno? No. Do I think they think about it? Yes. The cap stuff is too important this year. I don't see them doing it. I think that's fair. It doesn't make sense. Again, it's one of those, this guy is worth more to me than he is to you. And the cap situation just doesn't allow for a kind of change like that to happen. And then, in an interesting kind of synonymous way, PG says, trade DeBrusk and Lindholm for someone like Elias Peterson. Maybe not him, but a young star. And we have the same issue. Is DeBrusk and Lindholm together make $10.5 million a year this next season. And DeBrusk needs to be re-signed for a higher mark than $4 million a year the following. And Lindholm will still be making $6.5 over the next 6 seasons after next year. There just aren't many teams that can take on that kind of commitment, let alone give up a young star whose cap hit is certainly going to be lower than that 10.5 next year for 2 guys that you like, but the back half of Lindholm's contract is not going to be pretty. The last 3 years of that contract is likely not the player you want to be making 6.5. Now, DeBrusk, you're happy to bring him in the door, but once again, it's the young star part that holds this all up. Is because a team goes, what's my timeline? What is this young star worth? Why would I get older and more expensive if it doesn't fit my timeline? These are great questions and great lessons because just because the value on the surface level right now feels equal, down the road it's not. And teams pay attention to that, or they should. It's not a take that makes any sense. I would love to do it. If you could get me a top 6 center, a young top 6 center for DeBrusk and Lindholm, I'd pull that trigger now. But it's just not feasible. Richard Brunette, buddy, I don't know if you are damning next season with this one or if you're just super hype about Taylor Hall. I genuinely do not know which it is. But I do appreciate this. Taylor Hall will be number 2 in scoring next year. Some good Joe. Guys, Taylor Hall's best season at this point in his career likely is in your 50 to 60 point mark. This is a hot take. Because for him to be number 2 in scoring, he's got to be a lot closer to 70 points. And I don't see that happening. But it would be fun. The problem is if he's at 55 points and he's number 2 in scoring for our team. That's not gonna be a good season for us. That's a little bit of a scary thought. So that's one of those monkey paw ones where you said that, and if it comes true, but he is sub 60 points, next year's on you, buddy. You just put your own head on the chopping block. I want you to know that. And remember, guys, if you want to see more stuff like this, just let me know below if you want me to continue keeping tracks of Bruins hot takes, and we'll do more videos like this. But let's end this one on a fun one. Darius says that Lohrei makes the team out of training camp. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. We like where this is going. Plays almost a full season. Oh, we like that. And plays with McAvoy in the first pair for significant stretches. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we want to see. That's our boy. Look, this could have the whole monkey paw situation to it too, but if he can be trusted up there with McAvoy, that means he's playing damn good hockey. Damn good. This is a take that we should all be begging to come true. And I'll tell you why. Because the likely path to clear some cap space for next season is trading or buying out Mike Riley and Derek Forbort. The buyout saves us about $5 million next year, and then it gets much smaller of how much it saves us the following year. Well, I guess it saves us nothing because both those contracts would be. We get like a $3.4 million penalty in 2 years. Worry about that when it comes, right? But that's very likely an option because we have no cap space this year to re-sign players that we actually need to have on the ice. So this might be one of those game-changing moments where you look at a season and you make the playoffs because a prospect was just able to take over some serious minutes. Maybe it's not a guy that you go on a run with. Maybe it's not a super successful season, but one that keeps the season entertaining. Yeah, I'd love that. Lohrei is an interesting case, and he very well may be an NHLer next year. But that is a spicy take. A hot take. All right, guys, that does it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next week with another video. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to continue to release more videos of these, like, little skits for the team season in 30 seconds or less or whatever it is. And then at the end, we'll do a whole compilation. We'll do a full video of all of them, which will be fun. But I figure we'll just release them as shorts as they kind of come to my brain. So, fun stuff on the horizon. Still working out the issues with merchandise, which has turned into a problem. But that's okay. I'll see you guys next time. Go Bees. Go Bees!